Hello, everybody. Gary Laubach and Mike Joseph. We are behind the mic as the rest of the football season is there ahead of us. A Patriot League championship is sitting out there. We're tied for first place right now with undefeated Lehigh. And maybe it would be great if both those ball clubs go into the Lafayette-Lehigh game with perfect records in the Patriot League. Mike, you were out to Oregon. I don't even know whether this game is really worth talking about very much. It's a game where we were expected to lose. We played a great first half of football. I think Oregon State finally woke up a little bit when they came out of the locker room. But what do you take away from this game? I'm not quite sure I could even answer that myself.
Well, I think the experience that the kids got was amazing. And even for the coaches, just to be in that huge atmosphere, to be under the pressure of calling plays and obviously running a system at that time, and obviously the travel part of it, because Lafayette is going to be on the road 2 of the last 4 weeks here. So that's important as well. So, but it was a fantastic atmosphere. It was a great game. And again, like you said, Lafayette up 13-10 at halftime, played extremely well defensively. I don't know if as much of they were that much better than we were, but they made a change at quarterback.
Yes.
And that made the change, obviously, was stopping more of a zone read attack instead of a passing attack. We probably should have had 3 interceptions. Jalen Edwards played phenomenal. The kids ran around. They had a great time. The atmosphere was huge. And then a little bit just too much of that quarterback and that different change that they made, that adjustment they made. We continued to play the same way, didn't make many adjustments. They did, and they came out on top.
It was interesting, too. When you have that situation, you can make those adjustments and talk about them at halftime. But the change came in the second half. It's a little bit more difficult as a coach to make those adjustments then.
Yeah, they sprinkled in that young quarterback a little bit at the end of the half, but it was more of a package type thing. And then on the whole second half was him, and then they got the running back going. And, again, they kind of forced their will on us a little bit. And then we struggled. Remember, we blocked the punt early in the third quarter, had an opportunity to go up 20-10 and squandered that. We didn't pick that up. We got to be better on fourth downs. We got to be better in short yardage situations, being more efficient. We're great on third down efficiency, but on those short yardage situations, 3rd and 1-2, 4th and 1-2, are going to tell the difference here in the last 4 games.
A guy in your position doing the game, Ryan Leaf, who everybody knows was a great college football player, he made the point of acclimation, that maybe it was just difficult time-wise because by the time that game got to the second half, it was midnight here. Yes. And maybe they didn't quite acclimate themselves, and I could understand that. They didn't get there till late. And do you think that had any effect?
It could have. The first half, they're working on energy. You're just working on energy, and you don't want the first half to end because you're doing so well, and all of a sudden there's a break, and there's a chance for the other team to regroup and a chance for you to take a breath. But at the same time, it's almost the first half you didn't want to end. You just wanted to continue to go, play right through, and I thought John Troxel and his staff handled it extremely well. It was a really a great crowd. I mean, really was. They don't. I mean, I think it holds 25 to 35,000. But in that atmosphere, that long ride from the airport, and then obviously you got to get on a plane. They came back the same night. I stayed to play a little golf, and then afterwards. But that long ride may have had a thing. But nothing could be better than the bye week for Lafayette. Right. Heading into the last 4 weeks.
And Mike had to acclimate himself when he swung the clubs, I'm sure. All right, it's Holy Cross coming up. Holy Cross under second-year head coach Dan Curran. Not a great record as we go into this ball game for Holy Cross. But, you know, there's an old phrase in athletics about you are what your record says you are. One win by Holy Cross, I don't think that quite tells us who they are.
I don't think so. And they played really good football. But they just can't sustain it. Yeah, they're having trouble, and they've lost. I think they've lost 4 games by a total of 8 points. So can they get over the hump? What do they do? Do they have to change something? You know, and again, that's why I think the bye week for Lafayette is huge. They have to come off a loss that they were winning against Colgate at home, and that is huge. That is a tough place to play, to go up to Worcester, Mass, and play on the grass, which is different, right. And have an opportunity to pull away a win is huge. So Colgate did a great job. Lafayette just has to put the pressure on them early, put that doubt in their mind that Lafayette is a better team, which we know they are, both running the football and defensively, and can Lafayette, again, keep that offense at a high-scoring pace.
Let's talk first of all about the bye week. What does that do to a football? I mean, I sit here, and you and I have talked about this before the show. I feel like we haven't played football for a month because we haven't been here at Fisher now for quite a while. We won't be here again this week. It seems like a huge lull. Did you like bye weeks as a player? Did you not like bye weeks as a player?
I didn't like him as a player. I loved him as a coach.
Okay.
And the reason I like him as a coach is because you get a chance to self-reflect. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit on Inside the Huddle, is a self-reflection. Step back, take a look at what do we do, and what do we do well, and what do we not do well. And at the same time, you get the self-scout. In other words, what is the other team's looking at? Are they looking at whether we run the ball on 1st and 10, or if we're at midfield, do we take a shot? What do we do in the red zone? All of those things are on tape right now. You have hundreds and hundreds of plays for Holy Cross and Richmond and all these teams down the road get to look at. So you get to self-reflect. What kind of team are we? What do we do in certain situations? How do we get better? Do wells, do better type things, just like you do in business. And then can Lafayette basically make some changes, not become so predictable on certain downs? So, again, that's the self-scout about it. So, as a coach, I loved it. As a player, I just want to play ball.
That's a great analysis, too, that a lot of people probably don't think about self-reflecting. I doubt if people think you always look at the other team. How much do you look at yourself? Let's take a look at Holy Cross. Let's take a look at them. Brandon Graham is their quarterback now. He's a sophomore. Cal Swanson was their quarterback. He got injured in the Harvard game, so Braden has taken over. He looks really good at times, and, he looks, I guess, like a sophomore.
Yeah, he's going to be really good.
I mean,
I watched him coming out of high school. He had many offers. Really good out of Tennessee, I believe. He can throw the football. He just needs to be a little bit more acclimated to their type of style, what they want to do under center. Now, remember, this is one of the teams that you will see under center, not always in the shotgun. Clairvaux is a terrific running back. The guy that bothers me on that offense is Max Mosey. I mean, he's phenomenal. He reminds me of our Keener, of Mason Keener. Punt returns. Every time he gets his hands on the ball, and they want to go to him in situations just like they used to do with Coker, just like they did with Shorter, just like they did with a lot of these guys. So he's the guy that bothers me more, but Braden's getting better. We can't let him get better this week.
They have a good running game, too, in Clairvaux. Jaden Clairvaux is good for sure. He's first-team All-Patriot League last year. Nioti Puni, he also is very good. Mosey is a receiver you have to worry about. You have to worry about him anytime he's on the field as a punt returner, kick returner. This team, I'm not sure why they have the record they have.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. They've played a tough schedule, obviously, and they just don't seem to know how to get over the hump. They know how to win, and a lot of times that comes with a new coach. Remember, this is the second year. So we looked at that with Trox in his second year, and then all of a sudden that third year was the year. Remember, this is a team that shared the Patriot League title for a lot of years. Now, sometimes it wasn't as the winner. It was record-wise. But they know how to win. They know how to win up there. I think they're going to run the heck out of the football. Keep the ball away from an explosive Dean DeNoble, an explosive Elijah Stewart if he's healthy. I think they're going to run the football, try to take the air out of it, and kind of make this a shorter game and see if they can win kind of a 14-10 kind of slugfest and not let Lafayette get on top and score points like Lafayette's been doing.
Yeah, for sure. Defensively, they're led by Lathan Crowley at linebacker. He's just a sophomore, but he's got 62 tackles. He had 15 tackles in the loss to Colgate this past week. The leading tackler is Cam Santee, another linebacker, 73. Good cornerback in Cam Jones. Good safety in Garrett Baldwin. Defensive lineman Joseph Townsend, he is a very good. He was the best defensive lineman last year for Holy Cross. This team has won 6 Patriot League titles in a row, some with asterisks, because 2 years ago Lafayette got the bid. Last year Lehigh got the bid, but they were still, same record, they were still champions. We come into the ball game, hopefully we're healthy and we're ready to go.
Yeah, and again, I think the only nick we had coming out was a little ankle injury by Elijah Stewart, which was, and Elijah, you could tell he belonged on that field. Dean DeNoble, there were a lot of guys that we have. The thing about playing Oregon State is they just have more of them. We might have 3 tight ends. They have 8 tight ends. We have 3 running backs. They have 7 running backs. So their depth is a factor. But, we're as explosive as anybody in this league. I mean, we can put up some points. The question is, how do we do that? Do we play off of maybe a more healthy legs? Kente Edwards hasn't played a ton of football this year.
Right.
So Kente's a guy. Weber's been fantastic. Can we keep that offensive line today? We're going to have a chance to talk to Reed Collins, the offensive tackle. That's been the key. Those 5 guys up front have been the key with Ethan Hosack. Some great blocking. We're getting other guys involved. And I tell you what, Skirbo is a threat in the red zone for height, and that is huge. huge.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of touchdowns in that red zone. I think he has like 9 catches and 4 or 5 of them for touchdowns. Kente Edwards and Ethan Weber have combined for well over 1,000 yards rushing, so they're a really good dynamic duo, those two. And it was good to see Kente out on the field against Oregon State. He ran hard. He looked okay. So let's hope now with the week off he's even healthier and ready to go. You know what? I get more impressed with D. Beckham every week, and he had another good ball game against Oregon State.
Yeah, runs well, sideline to sideline. The other guys in there, obviously, Robert Stevens is getting better. Great job by Callahan Blair. He's a guy who played well. So that front seven is doing a nice job. And then you guys like Kevin Dodard coming on, really good players in there. And again, our corners are small, but they're active and they can make some plays. So Davis Oliver's been better. The defense has gradually gotten better each week. They have a lull here or there where they got to find a way to get off the field. They can't let teams convert 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. Those are stagnant downs. You got to give the ball back to Dean DeNoble. Interceptions, turnovers are going to be key all the way down the stretch here. Can we give the ball back to what I feel is the most explosive offense in the league, and that's obviously Dean DeNoble.
In our defense, we have 6 players with over 30 tackles, so it's a really good unit as a defensive unit. Make sure you get inside the huddle with Mike as he looks at the upcoming ball game and some of the things we need to do. And Mike and I will be back in a couple of weeks when we take on Colgate. But let's get past Holy Cross. Lafayette 3-0, Lehigh 3-0. Georgetown sitting at 2-1. They're having a good season since their loss to Lafayette. Georgetown is at Lehigh this weekend. Fordham is at Richmond. So a lot of good Patriot League football to be played. Merrimack's at Colgate. That's it for Behind the Mic. We're glad you did join us. Again, we invite you to join us the following week when we'll be back here at Fisher Stadium. For Mike Joseph, I'm Gary Laubach. Thanks for watching.